My team and I created a game where you take the role as an alderman building bike lanes around the city of Chicago. Here's an overview of the board, as well as the month card and the cyclist card. Here is the key rule card, as well as the bingo chips we use to place down as bike lanes. And here is the fake money that we used to distribute to the players. Now I'll pass it over to one of my team members as he explains the rules to the players at the beginning of the game.
So each turn, there's 12 turns, one for each month, and each turn is 3 phases. So the first phase is you'll get a certain amount of money and then roll this d4 to see which event you get from the month card. So then you resolve that event. The second phase is you building bike lanes. So you can build a painted bike lane for 4,000, a protected bike lane for 10,000, or you can upgrade a protected to a painted to a protected for 6,000. And if you choose not to build any bike lanes, then it's $1,000 fee. And you can build as many lanes as you want if you have the money to build it. So then the third phase is based on the number of bikers at the top. You draw a card, like a biker card. Like this one says that he needs to use Street 5. So if you just match it to the one that's on your board and roll this one to see if they are able to bike safely or not. If they bike safely, then that's good. If you don't roll a high enough roll, then there's an injury fee of $1,000. So I know that's a lot to front load, but hopefully it'll make sense as we kind of get into it. So yeah, that is the game. Who wants to start? Or why don't we start? Can you start possibly on the east, and then we'll just go around. Okay, so also the wards get a different amount of money. So the north side gets 5,000, the east and west get 4,000 at the beginning, and the south side ward gets 3,000.
At this point, the players are halfway through the game. As you can see, the north side has almost all the protected bike lanes built, represented by the red bingo chip. The blue bingo chip represents painted bike lanes. As you can see, the east and west side have an abundance of, and even the south side has a couple as well. But the south side doesn't have many protected bike lanes, as you can see. That's because the funding for the south side isn't that much. So realistically, they wouldn't have enough money to buy protected bike lanes. The player in the south side actually is in debt, which is something we wanted to show, that the funding for different areas or different wards around Chicago is actually different. So there is a discrepancy depending on what ward you're in or what side, north, south, east, or west. As we developed our game, we thought one of the best ways to show the discrepancy between wards was the amount of funding a player got at the beginning of a turn, as well as in the beginning of the game, how many protected bike lanes the north side would have compared to like the south side, who only starts with one protected bike lane. Also, at this point in the game, the players are drawing more cyclist cards based on the month that they're in. In the warmer months, we made it that the player would have to draw 2 to 3 cyclist cards now instead of the one that they would be drawing during the colder months like January and February and December. This mirrors how in real life, the more people out cycling, the higher the chance for injury. I like how the players caught on that if you just hold on to your money, you pretty much will be able to build your project later on. Kind of mirroring how in real life, when cyclists would complain and say, hey, we want more bike lanes, it would take a while for them to be built. You could almost say it's because, well, they didn't have the funds this month, so they're holding on to their funds, going on to the next month, to the next month. This is why projects take a while, right? Because you need the funding to actually build these bike lanes and other projects around the city. You can't just complain about it and then it happens overnight. This is a way that we wanted to show the cyclists that the aldermen not building bike lanes around the city isn't just because they don't want to, it's because they don't have enough funding to do it this month. Sometimes funds have to be distributed throughout different projects around the city, and a bike lane might not come as top priority all the time. We also hope our players are able to take this away as well, seeing as some months actually would take away funds from the player due to other events and projects happening around the city. that would take priority over building a bike lane. Lastly, I'd like to show off the final turn being played by the south side player right before we get to the testimonials.
Heavy snow, -4 to all G20. That sucks.
No, he'll still be good though because he has enough money left.
Okay,
Yeah, he
maintenance.
does. You'll have 1,000 even if you fail.
You barely made it to the end.
Okay.
That's it.
No one lost.
Go.
So clearly the South side needs some work, but overall, I got it. Bike lanes are severely thought of, and the city really needs to work on the importance of people and more than playing for their safety. I like it.
From what I kind of learned from this overall gameplay, I learned like there's these different aspects to funding and these different terms of areas throughout Chicago. Like North Side has like more of upper hand over all the areas. They have more funding, or South Side has less. I also learned that you also have to keep track of how much you spend. You have to make sure you're always in the positive. You don't want to go negative. It's an overall good game. Teaches some very valuable lessons, and I think you did a good job.
Was that outside lacks a lot of funding for bike lanes and in general, but bike lanes funding. Very correct from the beginning that the north side had much more funding, and that there's things that can affect bike lanes, like parked cars and like heavy traffic and stuff that makes it hard to like, go through.
Cool. All right, perfect.